through it all.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So Connor, longtime college athlete of ours, um, you know, thorn in specific sides of some specific players
Yep.
here in the facility,
Yep.
but like overall constant joy to have around. So, Connor, can you tell the people watching, who you are, where you're located currently?
My name's Connor Leach. I've or just finished playing my sixth year of college baseball. I'm currently working for Wayland Baptist University in West Texas, Plainview. So that's where I'm
So,
located.
where were you located earlier?
Like in college career?
Yeah, it's in Colorado. Where were you?
Oh, okay. I was in Erie, Colorado.
Okay.
Played there for my entire high school career, and then drove down to see you guys for 3 years, I think.
Okay. So what was like your situation going? So when you joined us, you were still at Heston at the time. Or
Yeah, I believe it was 2020. So we had just got sent home, and I was trying to find a place to just train, get extra stuff in, and y'all accepted me with open arms. We got right into it.
So what would you say were like the situations or the challenges or issues that you had at Heston, obviously beyond the pandemic, but like
Yeah.
where were you as a player, do you feel like?
I was a guy that didn't get a ton of innings. I really wanted to get more out of my next school. Didn't feel like I threw hard enough for my size or strength, and um, so came in, worked with you on velo program, and worked with Joel on lifting, and then I also had some troubles sometimes here and there for with like my mental approach, and so we went through that first summer with mental approach and kind of built up some confidence with, like, I'd say aggression going at hitters.
What would you say was like the biggest challenge with, like you said, like your confidence is like probably your biggest challenge. Like
Yeah, yeah.
why was that a challenge, and then like, how did it make you feel as a player?
You know, the reason for that I think is just because I was one of the bigger dudes on the team, but I only threw 80 miles an hour, and so I was frustrated. I mean, you look at yourself compared to all these other guys, you're like, man, how's he throwing harder than me? And I think the way that we came over it was just, I think we sat down with one of the iPads after throwing with Rapsodo, and you said, look at your numbers, like your spin rates, your movement, all this stuff, and just see, like, you have good stuff that can beat hitters, no matter if you're throwing hard or not. I mean, you can get outs. So we went through, and although we did end up building some velocity, I mean, it really helped just seeing, like, okay, I have good stuff. I can still get outs.
How did you find fast performance? Like, what drove you to, like, what did you find about us? How did you find out about us and be one to want to come down?
My dad's actually the one that found you guys. So
Okay.
we were sitting down, and John, another guy that came down with me to throw, he and I had been planning on throwing all summer and keeping our arms in shape. And my dad found this place, and I was like, okay, I'll go check it out. And so we sent Jason an email, I believe, and he set up a time for me to come down. And my dad thought it was like more one-on-one lessons. And then when I figured out that you can come down, and I met guys like Jay and Noah and all those guys in Austin and all those guys, I was like, man, I want to keep coming back. Mainly because I liked the culture that you guys had. It was fun to go down, be around guys from all these different levels. I mean, somebody I trained with that first summer, Walter, just got called up. So that was awesome. I was like, oh, that's super cool that, like, I know
I
guys.
forgot you were in that group too. You were in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
little class that summer. God, that's wild.
yeah.
So what were your initial thoughts or feelings when you learned about fast, and like what were your first initial thoughts when you first came in?
Um, well, when I came in, you guys had that lobby area, and I was like, man, that looks kind of more like offices. And then you turn the corner, and I thought it was awesome seeing, I mean, the gym. And at that point, I was coming in the morning, so you guys had the garage doors open. It was nice out, and then the turfed out area inside is awesome. I mean, you guys have all the tools and stuff that I had trained with at Heston, Rapsodo, and later upgrading to the TrackMan, using all the driveline balls and everything. I was like, this is familiar to me, so I love it, and I just was excited to be in a spot where you guys were able to work with me.
All right, get kind of deep with me. Did you have any doubts or did you have any fears when you first started coming in here? Like, did you feel like, is this going to work for me? Is this, am I actually going to get better doing this? Am I, or is this going to be just kind of a colossal waste of my time? Like, what did you have any like second guessing feelings at the beginning?
I mean, yeah, a little bit. You know me. I'm a bit louder. I'm kind of outgoing. I think that first week and a half, 2 weeks, I was a little bit more reserved and quiet. I think going into any new spot, you can be a little bit nervous, thinking, okay, what's this gonna be like? Who am I gonna meet? But getting to know you and Jason and Joel really, like, you three really well, it was nice to know that it's people that also like want you to get better. It's not just like, hey, come in, use the facility. You guys worked hard with me to try to figure stuff out, and that was a lot of that built a lot of confidence and just wanting to come back to the facility.
So as you progressed through your career and coming back in the summers, coming back in the winters, where would you say you ended up in terms of, baseball performance and your skills? Like, how did you feel like those skills and your performance elevated after working with us?
I'd say I gained a few miles an hour here and there, but what really changed was you actually helped me develop a really good changeup, and guys would always make fun of me because I'd throw it and I'd do that motion where you were like point your fingers at the wall, and I was like, okay, I can do that. And so I would always do that if I screwed up a changeup, and guys would always mock me with it. But I mean, that's the thing that really changed is we got rid of one of my two breaking balls and just made it a slider, and that you helped me evolve that really well, and the changeup as well, and I gained some velo, and Joel really did help me get a whole lot stronger from where I was at.
So from not only just a performance standpoint, but how did that improvement or that ability to know what works for you, gain that extra bit of velocity? Because we went from what, like 80 when you first came in to probably mid eights.
Mid eights. Yeah.
So what did that do for your confidence and your ability to, believe in yourself as a baseball player and help you along through the rest of your career?
I mean, it just helped me know that I can get hitters, right? If you get up there and you're throwing 3 miles an hour harder, I mean, 4 miles an hour harder, you get up there, it's like, okay, like, oh, that surprised me a little bit. Didn't look that hard, or when you come back year to year to your school and you're like, yeah, I was training at a facility this whole time, and then you hop in and you are throwing 2 miles an hour harder, 3 miles an hour harder. They're like, oh, okay, what you're doing works. And so it was more hearing teammates when I went back that were saying like, oh, you look like you're throwing harder, or this looks like it's better. I mean, you guys helping shape that really did help push performance past the facility.
Could you share any specific achievements or milestones that you reached after training with us? Like, how did you do at Heston? Did you get a shit ton of innings at Wayland? Did you get any like specific awards or milestones or achievements like after working with us?
Not any like big achievements, but I did see my innings jump quite a bit at Wayland. That first year I came in, we had a head coach, and he redshirted me, so I threw 1 inning that year, and then we got a new head coach. I think that next year, and you can check my numbers on this, but I think I went to 30 innings that next year, and then the year after I dipped a little bit, but was used in more games, like a more of a short relief guy instead of a long relief guy. And then this past year I had some issues with the NAI and eligibility, but once I figured that out, I had, I think, about 15 innings, but that was just the second half of our season. So 15 innings for a relief guy in 25 games is quite a bit. So I saw that shoot up.
So going back to the coaching experience, like, how would you describe your relationship and your experience working with me, working with Jason, working with Joel, JC, all the coaches that are most predominantly around here?
Yeah. I mean, you four are always around, right? At least a combination of you. So it was always nice coming in, and although some days we'd come in and you or Jason would be there and you guys would be like, just go lift, like we'll be down at 9 when more guys to throw come in. I mean, it was nice to know we can go in there, get started, and no matter at what point, we'll see Joel, we'll see JC, we'll see you or Jason. granted, there's not, you guys aren't doing something out of the facility, but even days when we would go do, you would take us to, I'm forgetting what high school, but we'd go throw long toss on the football field.
Oh, that Northfield, not too far from here. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it just was nice to know that you guys were in there working on stuff. You could see when Joel would put in training sessions to train heroic, which was really nice. You could see that he was working on it later in the day. You'd see your next training session go in, check it, and if there was something that like I didn't understand, I knew I could ask him or I could ask you guys. Like, I'm not quite understanding this. Can you help me figure this out? And you guys were always able to help communicate that.
What aspects of the coaching program did you find the most beneficial?
Honestly, accessibility. When I moved to Kentucky that last year, I know that I texted you a couple times. I hit 90 on a pull down,
Yeah.
and I celebrated with my dad. But then I was like, "Oh, I gotta text Cole," and so I like wasn't done yet, and I was like, "Cole, just hit 90. Text you, I'll text you my full numbers when I'm done,"
Yeah.
and texted you or I mean the ability to follow you guys on social media is nice as well. I know that Joel posts a decent amount and you've posted a decent amount, and so even when I'm not at the facility, knowing that I can reach out and say, hey, this is kind of weird, or this is interesting, or trying to figure certain things out. I know I've been on the phone with Jason once or twice, so accessibility was huge with you guys.
So what would you tell someone who's like, watch this story, watch everything you've done here, everything that, all the stuff that you'd be like, hey, this is great, this place is awesome and all that. What would you tell someone watching this and is unsure about taking the next step and joining and taking their development over here to Fast Performance? What would you tell them, if they have those hesitations?
I just say reach out. That was the biggest thing that I did was send Jason an email. I came in and signed the waiver, but after that he took me into the pen and said, okay, this is what I see. This is kind of what we do around here, what we can do. Come back on this date, we can break it down with you. So I came in the next day, and that was super helpful. I'd just say reach out, get in touch, and see what you guys can go ahead and get started for people.
And how would you recommend the Fast Performance style over, other facilities that you might have used in the past?
I mean, man, like I said, the culture that you guys bring and just keep going with is awesome. You always have a group of guys. I know it kind of evolved, I think, because COVID was around in 2020. But past that, I know that you guys always had a group of high schoolers, if not two groups of high schoolers coming in. That culture just, it kept me coming back because I was like, man, I gotta go see Jay and Noah and I gotta see Cole and JC and Joel and Jason and go tell them like, hey, this is what I did this season, or hey, I did this during the fall. So yeah.
So now that you've now retired as a player and you're now moving into the coaching ranks, what are like your future goals as a coach, or things that, now that you're in this coaching space, like what lessons that we teach you or pass on to you that you will now pass on to your own athletes?
I mean, man, it comes back to, you're just because you don't throw super hard doesn't mean you can't get outs. I mean, I think that's one of the big ones. One of the big things you taught me specifically was get ahead of hitters, and you showed me the batting averages for everything. And when you get ahead of a hitter, I mean, man, hitters tend to struggle. So things like that, and then from the weightlifting perspective, just get in and do your work, do it well. If you're not doing your work and doing it well, then you're wasting your time, you're wasting the coach's time. So hop in, and as long as you're doing what you need to do, I mean, you'll have a good time with your players and with your coach.
Yeah, nice. So do you have any imparting words for anybody that may be watching this, like some piece of advice now that you've gone through your career and now you've moved into the coaching ranks? Like, what is something that you wish you knew as a high schooler, as a college player, now looking back on it, like when you first started in college? Like, what are some things that, for the people who are watching this, like, hey, take this advice and make your life a whole hell of a lot easier?
I mean, as a high schooler specifically, get in the weight room. Don't take reps off in the weight room. I wish that I could go back and do that. I feel like I'd be way better off if I did that. And as a college player, I mean, as a JUCO guy, it was, man, reach out to coaches. Ask them different things, whether it was you guys or whether it was Heston, or when I was trying to find a new spot. I mean, use your connections and use what you know to help get you to the next spot. If you're not happy where you're at, reach out, ask a couple coaches, hey, I'm interested in your program. You know, let them come back to you. The worst they can say is no. It won't be the end of the world.
All right. So awesome. Connor, thank you so much for doing this. I know it really means a lot to us. It means a lot to Joel. It means a lot to JC. It means a lot to Jason as well. That you speak such kind words about everything that we do here,
Yeah.
and you like I said, like if you ever need anything, I mean, I know you and I are texting back and forth off
Yeah.
camera from this. But like
Yeah,
if you ever need anything or you need places to go or people to meet or people to reach out to, you've always got a place here.
absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.